It's gonna be epic. Epic. I tell you all, it will be epic. Entertainment. No, it's gonna be this. And then we're gonna go here. There. How's everybody doing tonight? Join in the chat live. Here we go. Another episode of No News is News. Tonight we're going to be covering the Maine Democrats' last pitch. Their last pitch to become the replacement for Graham Platner. And of course, Mr. or Mrs. Ashley Webb is not present. And that kind of upsets me, to be honest. We only get the four leading boring candidates, not the other ones. Let's go into the Kelchi poll of the day. I wish I was getting sponsored by them. Somebody call them up. Tell them that they need to sponsor me because I do this show every single day this way. All right, Marco Rubio still in top spot today. Who will be president in 2028? 843, I think, days. ChatGPT, give me it. How many days until 2028 election? I think it's 843. I think it's 843. I think it's 843. Is it? Is it? Am I right? Am I right? It is 843 on this Saturday night. Everybody. So 843 days until election. And then we got Mr. Marco Rubio, and he's got 2 wins. We've got Mr. JD Vance, and he's got 51 wins. And then we got Mr. Gavin Newsom, and he's got 18 wins. And then Jon Ossoff still there. Jon Ossoff as that 4th place candidate right now. Get your vote in. The poll of the day starts right now. Our show starts right now. Let's look into it. It is Saturday, so let's just double check, make sure there isn't any breaking news going on today. I think we do have one video of breaking news, but let me check our mosh and make sure that we don't got any craziness going on. Tracking this weekend, Washington Post, 11 hours ago, Taylor Farms launches recall in 27 states after iceberg lettuce tied to outbreak. Hours after Taylor Farms announced Friday that it was voluntarily removing iceberg lettuce sources from central Mexico and the United States market, the FDA said that the company informed the agency that it would also initiate a recall. Unlike a voluntary product hold or removal, a recall requires a company to actively notify customers and work to recover effective products from commerce, making it a broader and more costly response. In a later recall notice posted Friday on the company's website, Taylor Farms de Mexico published a detailed 27-state recall list covering all iceberg lettuce sources from central Mexico and distributed over the last few weeks. The products many of them bulk food service packages, had best if used by dates extending past August 3rd. The shredded iceberg product was distributed in Alabama, Arkansas, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, that's where I'm at, and Virginia and Wisconsin. 8 hours ago, breaking news, 2 U.S. troops killed and 1 missing in Iranian missile attack in Jordan, Axios. 2 U.S. service members were killed and more wounded in an Iranian ballistic missile attack on the airbase in Jordan on Saturday. This is the first time U.S. troops have been killed since the fighting resumed 2 weeks ago. The incident raises the number of U.S. service members killed in the war to 16 now. On Saturday, at least 2 Iranian ballistic missiles hit the Mawafqa Salati air base in Jordan, which hosts U.S. troops and fighter jets. 4 other American service members were medically evacuated to hospitals in Jordan but have since been discharged, CENTCOM said. Other personnel who were evacuated for minor injuries have returned to duty. But we did see 2 deaths in that today. And that is the Mo news for the day. And before we get into these Maine Democrats' last pitch at the DNC, let's get into, there was a video earlier today that kind of broke down a little bit of the CENTCOM situation in Iran. So we will go to that first. Hello, Real Jesus. Welcome to the chat. Let's see if we can get that up here. Hold on. I was watching some music videos earlier, so I don't have that on here yet. Where is it? Right here. This one, right? That's 4 minutes long? Yeah, okay. Okay, let's go to this real quick. Live now, Fox News. Application window. Application. There we go. All right.
CENTCOM has announced the U.S. has launched a new wave.
So it's interesting that Fox was not reporting the 2 deaths of military soldiers in Jordan that happened by an Iranian attack earlier today, but they are discussing this.
Santa Marsick, we do have some breaking news to get to as CENTCOM has announced the U.S. has launched a new wave of strikes against Iran. We have this statement coming in from U.S. Central Command. Today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. forces began launching new airstrikes against Iran at the Commander-in-Chief's direction. The strikes are designed to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz and swiftly punish Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces who launched attacks against American service members in Jordan last night. So this breaking news coming in as the U.S. military on Saturday announced its first troop deaths due to direct Iranian fire since the opening days of the war, with 2 killed and another missing in an attack on a base in Jordan after days of intensifying exchanges of fire.
It is crazy though, because listen to this. They're reporting the 2 deaths of military today, but look at what they titled this as. This is 2 hours ago. Breaking: U.S. strikes Iran with 8th consecutive night. No, Iran struck Jordan and killed 2 of our soldiers. That's what should be the headline here, Fox News.
I'm saying this is the 8th straight night that these strikes have been happening. Friday's drone and missile attack sent 4 other service members to hospitals, according to the military. The dead were not yet identified, but since the war began, 16 U.S. service members have been killed and over 430 wounded.
Don't need to wear the freedom
now,
on
minutes
Saturday,
before
right?
that announcement, Iran's supreme leader had warned of unforgettable lessons if the United States continues attacking the Islamic Republic. Those remarks were read out on state TV, and they were attributed to Iran's supreme leader. Still unseen since the war began, he also called President Trump's signature worthless and invalid. So the breaking news coming in just now is that the U.S. military has launched new airstrikes against Iran.
That's not the breaking news. The breaking news is they killed 2 of our soldiers.
Country's Revolutionary Guard.
That's the breaking news.
For that attack in Jordan that did kill 2 American service members and left 1 missing
killed
and
2 American service members.
Hospitalization.
That's
that
the headline
right now is a statement that came in from CENTCOM. Now, all of this comes after the State Department on Saturday issued a worldwide caution for Americans, citing heightened tensions in the Middle East and the potential for this further escalation. I believe we have a tweet from Fox News to show you as the State Department has issued that new worldwide caution, urging Americans to reconsider travel to the Middle East as these tensions continue to escalate. This warning comes after 2 U.S. service members were killed, 4 wounded, 1 remains missing following the Iranian missile strike on a U.S. base there in Jordan. Officials are citing the potential for further escalation as Iran expands attacks across the region, targeting U.S. forces and key American allies in Jordan, Kuwait, and Bahrain. I believe we do have a statement coming from the State Department to read out for you here on Live Now from Fox. This is the statement in full. I am going to read it out to you right now, saying worldwide caution due to the heightened tensions in the Middle East. The security environment remains complex with the potential for unforeseen escalation. We remind Americans in the region of the continued need for caution and encourage them to monitor the news for breaking developments. The Department of State advises Americans worldwide, and especially in the Middle East, to exercise increased caution. Americans abroad should follow the guidance and security alerts issued by the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate. Flight cancellations and periodic airspace closures may cause travel disruptions. U.S. diplomatic facilities, including outside the Middle East, have been targeted. Groups supportive of Iran may target other U.S. interests overseas or locations associated with the United States and/or Americans throughout the world. Please read carefully our travel advisory, country information, and any recent security alerts when planning travel. That coming from travel.gov. So if you are traveling abroad, definitely exercise caution. And once again, the latest breaking news is that the U.S. Central Command saying today that American forces launched a new round of airstrikes against Iran following the deaths of those 2 U.S. service members in Jordan that happened at 6 p.m. Eastern time at the direction of President Donald Trump. Wanted to be sure to...
Let's just double check, make sure there's nothing serious going on in the last hour or so here. Oh yeah, we did see this happen.
Breaking
Andrew
news.
Tate and his brother were arrested in Miami about 2 hours ago.
Get to, though, as this is coming into our newsroom just in the last couple of moments. This post coming from TMZ saying breaking, Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami. We also have this post coming from the New York Post. Manosphere influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate arrested by U.S. Marshals in Florida. The Associated Press is reporting influencer brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate.
You know what's funny is that he was like, I can't support that Hail Hitler song because, you got to understand, I got to, work with the man and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes and does, Pat Betrick David, and everybody calls him a shill for Israel. And then they still arrest him in Miami.
Arrested by
and what are they arresting him for? What did he do?
In Miami. That's according to the U.S. Marshals Service. The charges against the pair were not immediately announced, but a spokesperson for the Marshals Service is telling the Associated Press that the warrant was sealed. I want to put up some video on your screen right now.
The warrant was sealed
of the Tate brothers. They were arrested on extradition request from the UK. That's according to a person who is familiar with the matter who spoke.
No, that we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be doing this. We're trying to extradite him to the UK right now. So this is a free speech thing. This is going to be a weird free speech thing where they're going to try to arrest him for something he said.
On the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss this case.
And they took him out of Miami and they're going to extradite him to the UK to basically get arrested for free speech. This is the most
The brothers,
guys, why are we doing this? Why are we fucking listening to the UK on some fucking free speech thing? Unless it has to do with the sex operation.
Where they face rape and human trafficking.
That's what I was going to say, unless it's that.
The brothers are dual U.S. and British citizens who moved to Romania in 2016.
Okay, but they're U.S. citizens as well, so should they not be protected by U.S. sovereignty?
They were arrested there in 2022.
Can they extradite them to the UK? Well, how? They're dual citizens.
To lure women for sexual exploitation.
And they're living in Miami full time.
They denied those allegations, and the case did not go forward because legal and procedural irregularities. The former professional kickboxers have amassed a following of fans, particularly young men and boys, by professing a lifestyle of luxury and unapologetic misogyny. The pending
misogyny? See, this is the reason we have misogyny, is because of retarded women that are reading the news while I'm unemployed. Misogyny? She can't, the woman can't even say the word misogyny. And we're gonna arrest Andrew Tate for misogamy, everybody. What the fuck world are we living in? This is so... for misogamy, guys.
Brothers of abusing women between 2012 and 2015.
Yeah, he's abusing the women. Probably the women that can't read like
London,
you.
Where they grew up, their lawyers have said that they denied the allegations. We also have this coming in from the Crown Prosecution Service, who has decided to bring additional charges against the brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate.
It's going to be a free speech thing. I know it. It's going to be some bullshit.
In relation to the original charges and the further charges they have authorized. So just reading from their website,
they're definitely scammers. That's the thing. I don't think anybody's going to say they're not a scammer. But is President Trump not a scammer then? And yeah, they are scammers, but they're like, then get them for scamming charges. You're going to get them for weird rape allegations 20 years ago, or something they said about misogamy, while the female news anchor that's reporting his arrest can't pronounce the word misogyny. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
Those further charges against the brothers Andrew
Are we for real right now?
In relation to 4 further
topsy-turvy world.
CPS deciding to prosecute Andrew
Maybe
Tate,
we need a little bit more misogyny.
39 with 7 further counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault, bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses relating to indecent images of children and extreme pornography. The CPS deciding to prosecute.
Pornography. She can't even say pornography.
Tristan Tate, who is 30.
She's worse than I am at reading this shit, guys. She's working at Fox
2
News.
2 counts of rape and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking or sexual exploitation.
There you go.
The offending is alleged to have taken place between July of 2010 and August of 2017. So we wanted to be sure to...
Let's see if we got anything else here. That was the strike. That was the... Okay. All right, cool. Let's get into it now. All right, guys. We got... all 4 of the Maine Democrats that may potentially take over for Graham Platner spoke to the press at the DNC convention, which is set to take place in about 10 days, when the 601 people, delegates, whatever, I don't know, decide who's going to replace this guy. Who's going to replace the Nazi lobster farmer, everybody?
Right thing, even when it's hard.
Here we go. This is the first one up.
Process to replace the nominee. How are you feeling about the convention? Do you feel like this is a way to get that best candidate to be found?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of trust and faith in the Democratic Party leadership on this. I've been campaigning with them for a year. They are really believe in the democratic process, the neutrality of the party in these decisions. So,
did you just hear this guy? I really trust the Democratic convention and party here. They really believe in the democratic process. That's why they're not voting. That's why they're not voting, guys. That's why they have a delegation deciding.
There is no
who's going to replace the person that they did already vote for.
Easy solution to this. There's no precedent.
There's no easy solution to this. There's no precedent. Yeah, there is. Kamala Harris. And you guys said that you should have done a special election. So why are you not doing one right now?
I do trust the people.
Why do I look like Jabba the Hutt? I don't know, my guy.
They are working their hardest.
Sean Lawrence,
create a process that, again, we
feel like I know that name.
Voters
can
trust
been here before?
that this is an open, transparent process, and that their will in the June primary is being respected. As Democrats, we learned this lesson the hard way in 2024, and we've got to learn from past mistakes and how to do things differently.
Yeah, but you're doing it the same. You're having the delegation decide. You're doing it the same way.
I think one thing that one of many factors that the reason Kamala Harris lost the presidential election, I believe, is there was a huge breach of trust with voters.
Right. But how are you going to meet them at that trust level if you're doing the same exact process that she did in order to secure the nomination?
That she told us that Joe Biden was the best candidate and only candidate to defeat Donald Trump. that was made very clear that was not true. But for so many voters, how are we supposed to trust you when you lied to us about this? And there was never a reckoning with that dishonesty. And I think we are in a similar situation. And this is a place where I am unique from everyone in our party. And
he is fumbling and kissing ass. That's all I know about this guy.
I agree with Graham on these issues and this platform and agenda.
He's just trying to leech onto it.
Bigger than one person, bigger than me, bigger than him. But that is important. And how do you have the trust of Democrats that you are carrying out the will of voters? Voters know it from me. I've done over 40 town halls in all 16 counties. My website has had a platform and agenda on it. I was a candidate for 4 months before Graham, and voters know all of this.
Yeah,
so
but you lost to Graham.
It's not something I did a press release on yesterday, and voters know that.
Voters know that. The voters aren't voting, bro. The delegates are, and you just sounded like a boring asshole. All right, well, I don't think that he's going to win. That's for sure. So, on to the next one. All right, number 2 out of 4. What's she got to say?
I'm really proud of the network of volunteers who have done an outstanding job in organizing more delegates than my 2 competitors. I've been working full-time this week. There have been a lot of tragedy in our state. A good man was shot in the streets of Biddeford, and the president gave an unhinged speech about democracy on Thursday night. So the people have organized my campaign, and that's not a talking point, it's reality. I'm going to win because I'm the only candidate that has been attacked relentlessly by Susan Collins and the right-wing media machine.
Oh my God.
I've been doxxed, I've been swatted, I've been threatened. The right-wing media machine already has, I think, all of my emails. I get FOIA'd on a regular.
Like, she's speaking articulately, but she's not selling the product. She's not doing the wrestling moves. She's not playing the theater correctly. You can see it in her eyes that she's still telling a lie. The good thing about a politician is when they create the theater, but they have to act like... Have you ever seen Nancy Pelosi eating Triscuits on January 6th? I don't know if this is still here, but there is a Nancy Pelosi Triscuits on January 6th. Nancy Pelosi. Okay, is this it? Maybe.
Breaking overnight, never before seen January 6th insurrection.
There to begin with. Question of how they don't know.
No, this isn't it. Where is it? Is it here? Do I have it on my channel? Hold on one second, guys. I think I got this. Well, here's the reel that we. I'ma punch him out.
She didn't say that exactly. She didn't say, I'm gonna punch him out.
I'm gonna punch him out. I've never heard anybody else ever say that. It sounds like the weirdest fucking
Alex,
alien.
because she didn't say those exact words. You just twisted them.
No, she did.
I'm going to punch him.
I'm going to punch him out.
Yeah, she did.
Do we need to play this back
She said I'm going to punch him out.
Can we play this back?
Because she's a rich bitch and she don't know what she's saying, bro.
No.
Watch
she
this.
did not say I'm going to punch him out.
We're going to pull this back now. Here, watch.
Here we
she
go,
says,
wait.
I'm going to punch him out.
Hold on. No, she's to punch him in the face.
Up he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my moment. I would pay to see that. I've been waiting for this. For trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail. And I'm going to be happy.
I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail.
I'm going to be happy. All right, inciting violence while creating the theater that she's not inciting violence. I believe Nancy Pelosi when she says she's going to punch Donald Trump out. I do not believe the theater of this woman yet. There's something in her eyes that feels inauthentic. Still talking about January 6th? It's a reference to the political theater. We're here with the Maine Democrats.
Basis, and they know everything about me, and the worst thing that they can say is I spent the first 2 years of my life in Massachusetts, which in Maine is actually potential liability, but I think I'll bounce back from that.
She got the sarcasm down too. A little bitchy. She's definitely been protesting. This lady's winning over the white guy. That's for sure.
We did not share our delegates with Shaw, and that is okay.
There are people on both lists.
Of course. Oh, Mainers are independent thinkers. I believe Mainers should put their names on the list that they want to be on. So that's why I think that we see delegates on multiple lists. And I think that's a good thing.
What would you say you're looking forward to the most? Sorry, kind of.
You know what she just did there, right? They're supposed to talk. Okay, so when you're doing delegation work, you're supposed to create a body of people that are going to vote for you, a delegation list. And then you have your assistants cross-examine it with the other people that are running inside of the delegation, the DNC, to determine, which people have written doubly on each list. And then you and that other candidate discuss, like, oh, do I need these votes, or do you like, it's all this like polite process. This lady is saying that the Indian man, the CDC official, the guy in first place, that she's not sharing her lists of who are going to vote for the delegation with him. And they're saying, well, wouldn't that cause a problem if they're on two different lists? And she goes, they're independent thinkers. When it comes to July 25th, they're going to vote for who they want to fucking vote for. So I think that this lady is actually potentially making a bid to actually shadow box with the CDC Indian guy and actually steal this seat. And I'm for it, because she's clearly an outsider trying to play the system of delegation. It feels very Ron Paul.
I started out the morning in Hancock County. They were meeting at my old high school. And what I experienced there and here is that there are people with Shaw buttons and Troy buttons who are coming up and saying, I hope you get her. And what I'm experiencing is that people are united in one goal. Who can bring Mainers together? Who can withstand...
She's speaking way better than the white guy so far.
...attacks that are coming. And who
I liked her better than the speeches of the CDC guy, too.
To mount the best campaign to carry the movement forward, because Maine is the oldest state in the nation.
Yo, if they push this lady out, I mean, we're gonna hear from the leader next, from Shaw next. But if they push this lady out and they put this idiot CDC goofball in there, goofballery for all.
Are worried
Still
about
talking
our
about
younger
Obama?
leaders, because the
When
life
did I
that
say
we
Obama?
have today for young people is very different than what it used to be. And so I think it's time for Susan Collins to take a well-deserved retirement. I think she and I might have something in common, in that we're always wondering if there's somebody outside that wants to take a shot at us. And what that's taught me is I will do the right thing, even when it's hard.
Wow. Okay. So I'm on her side right now. I'm really pushing for this lady right now. She clearly is like an outsider too on this. Now here is Shaw. This is the guy who... This lady is claiming that Shaw is trying to box her out. And it makes sense, because this is who the corporate national DNC wants. And I don't know why. And here we go. The other two people spoke for 2 minutes and said their thing. This guy's got 8 minutes with the press. So they're going to ask him follow-up questions. They've already decided he's won. I really hope that lady pulls this off.
One today? Democracy.
Because what is democracy if you already know that you're speaking to the delegate winner before the delegation even speaks? And you have a rightful comparative opponent in a protest woman on the streets going up against Susan Collins, who is also a woman in the same state, and you're going to put this guy up there instead? Why do they keep making the worst decisions?
Literally, I mean, yeah. This is like, if we were in Athens 2,000 years ago, this is what we'd be doing. So.
Why? Why do they keep making the worst decisions?
Me too. Yeah. I mean, that's. Here's one of my ideas. Someone should make a prequel to that movie about all the stuff that happens right before that. I think that could be. Someone should even write like a really long poem about all the stuff that happened before the Odyssey. I have ideas for names if anyone is interested in that.
Write a poem about what happened before the Odyssey?
Oh, right.
Oh, what?
I've had, true story.
How is this guy going to win over that woman? It's such bullshit.
After June 9th, one of my best friends who's like a mountain climber and all that stuff, said, "Hey, you gotta ditch the Diet Coke. You really, really gotta ditch the Diet Coke." And I just lost, and I was looking for big change.
Yep, he's being coached, because now here he is saying the same exact relatable story of how he quit Diet Coke, but then he decided he couldn't quit Diet Coke, and now Diet Coke is just his thing. So relatable to the voter, right? And he also did this speech twice already. I've already heard this speech 3 times. Now he has the opportunity to speak to the press on the delegate floor. The woman that's the competitor of him is saying, they're trying to steal it from me. And here he is getting double the amount of time, saying some goofball scenario about writing a prequel poem to the Odyssey, gets the mic on and starts talking about his goddamn Diet Coke syndrome again. Why does the Democratic Party just want to lose? Like, it makes no sense. Why do they want to lose? They have a woman there that can beat Susan Collins, and they want to lose with this guy instead. Why?
And so I said, sure, okay, I'm going to stop.
Oh my God!
And so for about a month, I didn't have a single Diet Coke. And I got to tell you guys, I felt exactly the same way as before. And so I have started going back to drinking Diet Coke. Yep, I sure can. I am so bad at doing this. I know. I've moved on to like Fresca and think, yeah, and so on and so forth. So.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Okay, good.
You can't figure out how to put the lapel on?
All right. I am here because this is democracy in action.
No, it's not. It's you trying to steal an election.
Every single voter today.
It's everybody in the CDC and the Democratic National Party trying to steal an election from a woman that we just listened to that spoke for less than 2 minutes and explained how you're stealing the delegation from her. She can clearly beat Susan Collins. You and your Diet Coke fucking retard stories cannot. Why are we doing this? Why are we continuing to lose and putting people in power that are clearly fucking shills?
Knows that our campaign is going to be the one that can take on and defeat Senator Collins come November. We are here to rally our supporters. We are here to convince folks to vote for delegates that will put me up on the slate in the nomination. And we're here to watch democracy unfold. It doesn't get any better than this. We have, I believe our slate right now is about, we were updating it literally in the car. I want to say...
I need to bring her name out because this is starting to really upset me, guys. This is making me sick. Shayna Bellows. Shayna Bellows should be the nominee, clearly. This white guy, he thinks he's got it just because he's the white guy. But I think he's just here to distract. And then this Indian CDC official who's already done like 3 or 4 speeches and they're already putting him front and center. He's doing his little national little bit on Diet Coke over and over and over again. They've already done this. And it's just like the optics on it make no sense at all because Shayna Bellows is clearly able to beat Susan Collins. And you're going to put this Diet Coke retard from the CDC 75? Up here instead. Why? Why do this?
Yeah, it was 470 as of this morning.
Can we just remove the Democratic Party because they don't want to even try to compete?
Yeah, more added.
This is so insane.
We've seen a lot of shared delegates between you and particularly Shayna Bellows.
Yeah, there's a lot of delegates shared between you and Shayna Bellows. So he's asking the same question that he asked Shayna Bellows.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Kayla go into that more, but.
I'm going to let Kayla go into. God damn, he's already got his staffers answering the controversial questions. This is disgusting. This is a fucking Nazi. This is a fucking communist. This is somebody that does not believe in American values. This is somebody trying to steal the state of Maine and give it to his friends. And are we going to just let him do this? Are we going to let the DNC do this? Because, well, I hope to God they don't win and we just keep the fucking Israel lady, Susan Collins, the shill that's 80 years old. Fine, just keep her in there. Because if you're not going to allow Shayna Bellows to do what she's supposed to fucking do, this is insane.
Sure I get this right.
Let me make sure I get this right. Shayna Bellows was able to answer this question herself. Maine independent voters are independent in Maine, they can speak for themselves. He's asked the same question after doing his Diet Coke story, and he's like, oh, well, my staffer can get into that more, and let me make sure that I get this right. Dude, what the fuck? And we're supposed to believe this is fair and free and not, and the people that are, voting that are in the, I'm not in the Democratic Party. The people that are here are so brainwashed that they think that they're actually, part of a system, I think. Or they just think that somebody else is better off speaking for them. Either way, they're not doing what you're supposed to do in America, which is vote for the candidate. Because clearly Shayna Bellows would win. She's been protesting in the streets. She spoke about ICE. She didn't speak about Diet Coke. She compared herself to Susan Collins. This man is yet to mention the person he's going up against. And when asked the question about the list of voter rolls, creating multiple tallies for both Shayna Bellows and for you, Shaw says, answer my assistant, let me think, look up in the sky. What's the answer, buddy?
Have featured some of, we're gonna get the exact answer. Kayla was walking me through it in the car, but she's on the phone. But there is an answer. I will probably let Kayla go through that with you. But yes, there is an answer. Yep.
Your new Democratic candidate in Maine, people. Clip it now. Holy shit. So much worse than the voting machines going down in delegation in Iowa in 2020. So much worse than the 2016-2015 robbery of Bernie Sanders. So much worse than Tellerico clearly getting his own favor over a sitting House rep because we don't want a black woman to have people in Dallas and Houston vote. This is the worst robbery that I have ever seen in the DNC, and there have been a lot of them in the last 10 years. But it seems like they just continue. This is even worse than the fucking Kamala Harris thing. It seems like they just continue to make the wrong decision. Because again, this lady speaks for 2 minutes, answer the question herself. Let's go back to it, just so that we can clear this up again, guys. Okay?
Competitors, organizing more delegates than my two competitors. I've been working full-time this week. There have been a lot of tragedy in our state. A good man was shot in the streets of Biddeford, and the president gave an unhinged speech about democracy on Thursday night. So the people have organized my campaign, and that's not a talking point, it's reality. I'm going to win because I'm the only candidate that has been attacked relentlessly
they're gonna take it from you,
by
bro.
Susan Collins and the right-wing media machine. I've been doxxed, I've been swatted, I've been threatened. The right-wing media machine already has, I think, all of my emails. I get FOIA'd on a regular basis, and they know everything about me, and the worst thing that they can say is I spent the first 2 years of my life in Massachusetts, which in Maine is actually...
That was her answer to the same question. The man couldn't answer the question.
I just wanted to ask you about this sort of delegate operation.
Oh, wait, okay, no, this is it. Okay, so guys, he's going to ask the same exact question, the delegate operation, that there are dual written delegates on both of their voter rolls. Watch her response.
We did not share our delegates with Shaw, and that is okay.
There are people on both lists.
Of course. Mainers are independent thinkers. I believe Mainers should put their names on the list that they want to be on.
Okay? Now, same guy asked the same question. Okay? Guy has asked the same question, who is going to steal it. The DNC is going to literally give it to this guy. And watch this.
We've seen a lot of shared delegates between you and particularly Shayna Bellows.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm going to let Kayla go into that more, but I want to make sure I get this right. We have featured...
I'm stealing?
we're gonna get the exact answer. Kayla was walking me through it in the car.
I'm stealing the election. That's what
I will probably let Kayla go through that with you.
Yeah.
But yes,
I'm stealing This is not really actually democracy, and I was told what to say there, but I forgot to say it. We're not going to listen to this guy anymore because he's clearly going to be the nominee. Let's listen to the last one, though. This is the fourth and final delegate speaking. We'll give him some time. He's clearly going to be the Marine one or whatever. They always have somebody that's in the services.
We had way more people asking to be delegates in some of these counties, and it was very challenging. You don't want to leave anyone off, but all we were trying to do was find the right number that was totally committed to us, and just go forward with that. And the biggest thing is the ones.
So the two white men are so stupid that they're not even worth a damn on the damn race, guys. But the other two, they're clearly robbing it from him. Clearly robbing it from her. Shayna Bellows, I really hope you win it. I hope you know how to play the system, but they play the system on everybody this way, honey. I don't think that you got a chance. I think the Indian CDC official is going to continue to do his Diet Coke story until he loses to Susan Collins.
Shapiro.
That's what I think was
live coverage on C-SPAN.
All right, now Josh Shapiro did some sort of announcement today. I guess I don't know what this is all about.
In Dauphin County, as we kick off Rise Pennsylvania, our coordinated campaign, we wanted to be here with all of you to say we are in it to win it, Dauphin County. And I'm especially happy to be here in a House of Labor.
Shit. Sorry about that.
Here at Local 520, let me say a special thank you to my friend Jim Enders and every single woman and man of organized labor. Pennsylvania is proud to be a labor union state. Let me just tell you, I am so grateful to be your governor, to serve as the 48th governor of this great Commonwealth, and to be a GSD governor.
I gotta piss real quick.
Every single day I go to work fighting for you.
We'll
We've been able to work together to get a whole lot of stuff done. We've made historic investments in our public schools. Universal free breakfast is now the law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. After decades of decline, the number of teachers is rising in Pennsylvania. Our test scores are going up, truancy is going down, and more opportunity is around for all God's children in our Commonwealth. Good schools and safe communities are at the heart of the progress that we're making. Thanks to investments in hiring more police and investments in organizations that are fighting crime in our communities, violent crime is down 16% across this Commonwealth, and homicides are down 39%. Good schools and safe communities, and I'll tell you what else we're doing. We're growing an economy and building communities that work for all. Communities where you can afford to live and where you have a job. For 43 straight months, Pennsylvania's unemployment rate has been below the national rate. We've created more jobs than all but 2 states in the entire country. Our labor unions are filled. More people are going to work. We're creating more opportunity for all Pennsylvanians, rural, urban, and suburban. And at the same time, what we are seeing is we're putting money back in Pennsylvanians' pockets, because we know they're struggling today. On my watch, we have cut taxes 10 different times. The biggest targeted tax cut for seniors in more than 2 decades. About a million working Pennsylvanians are now getting up to $850 back in their pockets because we value people who are working, who are struggling to get ahead, and who understand how challenging this moment is. Every time we put a buck in somebody's pocket, Donald Trump, unfortunately, takes $2 out the other side. But we're doing that work. good schools and safe communities, an economy that lifts people up, cutting costs, and I'll tell you what else we're doing. We're protecting people's fundamental freedoms right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I made a commitment to you that on my watch, Pennsylvania would never be a right-to-work state, and we value the union way of life here. I made a commitment to you 4 years ago in the wake of Dobbs that we would trust women to make decisions over their own bodies and protect access to abortion in the Commonwealth, and we've done just that. I made a commitment to protect
this guy's he's gonna make a bid.
And the most
he's doing a lot of speeches
freedom
lately.
you have as an American,
and he's got that Jewish thing.
And no matter how hard they've tried to take it away,
Democrat.
Here in Pennsylvania, I've stood tall and protected your right to vote.
He was so close with Kamala, and like honestly, if they would have put him up instead of Kamala in 2024, he probably would have beat Trump.
We've made a whole lot of progress together. But all
probably would have.
It's on the line right
That's
now.
crazy. He might have been president if they would have put him up instead of Kamala.
Who just simply want to be a rubber stamp for this president.
Oh, that wasn't it though. He was supposed to be the vice president candidate. That wouldn't have mattered. That wouldn't have mattered. If he would have been the presidential candidate, that would have
people like
been.
My opponent and the opponents of the people who are up here today. But I know Dauphin County, I know Pennsylvania. We are going to stand up to Donald Trump's chaos and cruelty and corruption, and we will send a resounding message this November that we are better than that, and we value our freedoms here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I don't know, this group probably did. I don't know if you took the time to watch that crazy-ass speech the other night. Did you see that?
That's the way to put it, though.
Let me tell you something.
Like that's the thing. Like he is building himself as a candidate. You need as I was saying, you need the wrestling theater. You need that Nancy Pelosi. I'm gonna punch him out. You need that, and he just did that there. Did you guys see that crazy speech the other day? Like he's leaning in where other people are still being really soft.
This guy is just unhinged. He's just untethered from reality. And he went on national TV in the White House.
Comrades, what's
up,
up,
and he insulted the American people's intelligence. And he insulted Pennsylvania. He is continuing to attack our elections in Pennsylvania and really across the United States. But we have an opportunity to stand up against that.
Notice on nights where we talk Democrats, our entire audience is gone. Because our audience is only interested in screaming about how Donald Trump is evil.
And to protect our democracy.
They're not interested in their own
people,
processes.
No matter how unhinged that seemed, I know it left you feeling
I'm here
uneasy
fucking watching
and
their
worried
shit.
and scared. But this is not a moment to retreat and worry. This is a moment to stand tall and fight for what we believe in.
Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, y'all.
That back in 2020, when Donald Trump lost the election here in Pennsylvania.
So he puts his pants on 2 legs at a time.
he and his enablers went to court and sued me 43 different times. I was the attorney general back then, to try and throw out your votes, to try and thwart the will of the people here in Pennsylvania. But let's remember, he sued us 43 times. Trump went 0-43. I went 43-0, and we defended your right to vote, and we will again.
I don't know that's... Most of them never even made it.
And I know he's especially concerning because he's got a whole bunch of people lined up behind him who just want to rubber stamp everything he does. One of those guys who lines up behind him and rubber stamps every single thing he does is a guy named Scott Perry, who right now,
Glad you got some booze,
they've heard of him, I guess. But understand, Scott Perry is not only working hard to undermine your rights and freedoms, rip away the freedom of women to make decisions over their own bodies, attack the union way of life, try and make it harder for you to vote. try and dirty up our air
in, bro?
Make our streams more polluted. This is the work he actively does every day. Here's what else he did. He decided that the people at the very, very, very top deserved a tax cut. And then he decided the way he was going to pay for that tax cut was on the backs of people's health care and food assistance in Pennsylvania. Now understand, this isn't theoretical. This isn't just, political talk. This is real for people in Pennsylvania, especially here in South Central Pennsylvania. As a result of his vote, a vote that I have to believe he knew was wrong, but he felt that he had to do it because he has to do whatever his boss tells him to do. His boss should be the million or so people in this congressional district. Instead, he does whatever Donald Trump tells him to. This is the infection that exists right now in the Congress of the United States that we've got to cure. But as a result of what he did, 310,000 Pennsylvanians are losing Medicaid access. 200,000 are losing their health care assistance through the Affordable Care Act.
Scott Perry on
90,000 already have. 500,000 of our neighbors don't have health care because of how Scott Perry voted. Let that sink in. You want to talk about cruelty?
Yeah.
He also voted.
Yeah, so we're like show-wise, we're definitely on team like get rid of Scott Perry. He's been in office. Oh, he's only been in office. Well, yeah, assumed office. Wait. House Freedom Caucus Chair, House of Representatives, 2013. Yeah, get this fucking guy out of here.
To strip away
13 years.
The support that people who are hungry rely on. It's called SNAP. I'm a father of 4. Eugene's a father of 2. The idea that as a parent, you wouldn't be able to feed your kids just claws at me, breaks my heart. And then for this guy to come along and take away the lifeline that those people had for their children, that is wrong. We need to replace Scott Perry in the Congress
really
of the
is
United
good.
States.
He's good at the theater. He really is good at the theater. He really
I'll
is
tell you
good,
where else he's wrong.
He's better than John Ossoff.
He
to be
does
honest.
whatever Donald Trump tells him to,
But
including
he's Jewish. You got
backing this
Palestine
war of
people right now.
choice in Iran, a war that was wrong to get into, that the President of the United States has no idea how to get out of. I'm sad to report to you that we learned just in the last
Anybody
hour
over like one term, over 6 years?
Brave American service members
lobby for the other side, please.
Killed in this war.
Anybody
One is
over 6
still,
years.
An additional one is missing. I hope we can all join together and pray for strength for their families to get through this challenging moment. And pray that the memories of these brave service members will forever be a blessing upon us. We also have to acknowledge that this war of choice should have never started. We have to find a way out of this. I want someone who is going to courageously stand up and ask the right questions, demand answers, who's going to think of those American service members first, who's going to understand the pain that this war is creating right here at home, at the gas pump, and in a whole lot of other areas. I want someone who understands that we can't have chaos across the globe, the kind of chaos that this president is inflicting on us. I want someone who's going to have the courage of their convictions and not be listening to Donald Trump for direction, but listening to the good people of Pennsylvania for direction. That person is Janelle Stelson, and we need her in the Congress of the United States.
Oh, it's a female, too. All right.
I know we're frustrated right now. I know we're angry right now, but the antidote to that anger is for us to get out and do everything we can through this coordinated effort by rising up and making sure Janelle is our next Congresswoman. We can stop this chaos, this cruelty, and this corruption in D.C. by changing the Congress of the United States and understand if Janelle wins this race, and if we win these other targeted races across Pennsylvania, we will have a Democratic majority in Congress, and we will stop these bad policies from going into law. And I'll tell you what else we can do by coming together in this coordinated, really unprecedented way, Mr. Chairman. We can make even more progress here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You know, all the things that we've been able to get done together. I've get through a divided legislature. But I want to tell you something. We're going to make history in Pennsylvania. Because not since 1992 has the Senate of Pennsylvania been in the hands of Democrats. I am convinced that if we work together, this will be the year we win the state Senate, we hold the state House, and we have a trifecta here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and then we can stand here and do nothing and say, no, Donald Trump, we won't do your ideas.
And when we do it, understand
there's like no policies behind this shit.
Holds the key to this.
It's just like, tell Donald Trump to stop. If we get in charge, then we'll tell him to stop. And then what will you do? We'll keep telling him to stop.
You're going to make sure we re-elect one of the finest public servants in Pennsylvania.
So put a fresh batch of thieves in office? Absolutely. Yeah. Fresh batch of thieves. Tell them that they can keep their fucking thievery if they start giving us what we need. Because the old thieves ain't doing it. They not listening. They going on vacation.
James Malone wins his re-election, and I'm all in for him. I believe that we will have a trifecta in Harrisburg. And I'll tell you what else. We've been able to do all of this with literally a one-seat Democratic majority in the State House of Representatives. I could use a little breathing room in the State House. And the way we get that breathing room, the way we expand our majority, the way we continue to keep our history-making speaker, Joanna McClinton, sitting up on that dais, is to elect Sarah Agerton to the House of Representatives. And with Sarah and with James, let me tell you what we're going to do in the first 30 days of having a trifecta in Harrisburg. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour in the Commonwealth. I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We will codify abortion rights into law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'll tell you what else we're going to do. We're going to build more affordable housing and take on those utility companies that keep jacking up our rates here in Pennsylvania. And we're going to continue to get a whole lot of stuff done. I'm going to do it because we share these values that value the good people of Pennsylvania, that put them first, that focus on the results that we need to be able to deliver a better future for our kids and our grandkids. All of this is possible. And this
make sure to double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and tell us who you voted for in the comments below. Keep the conversation going. That's how we get the algorithm pumping up, get people attached to the show. 5 minutes left. JD Vance coming away with it, 41%, but Marco Rubio in second place with 23%.
In many ways is the center of what is going to decide whether we have a trifecta in Harrisburg and a Democratic majority in Washington. Here's the last thing I want to talk about. Not any of the important people up on this stage, but I want to talk about all of you, because you are the ones with the power here. You are the ones who have the ability to make a difference. You've got a whole lot of power because you're yelling power right there. I appreciate that. We have an opportunity here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the birthplace of our democracy, the swingiest swing state in the country, to decide what the future of the Congress of the United States looks like, and to be a model for good governance right here in Harrisburg. And we now, as a result of Rise Up Pennsylvania, have for the first time, Mr. Chairman, I believe ever, the most coordinated, well-funded, well-organized campaign in the history of the Democratic Party here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And you are the reason why I know we're going to win. You're going to make calls, you're going to send texts, you're going to knock on doors, and And you're going to do the hard work in the heat of the summer. You're going to do the hard work on the rainy days. And when the temperature starts to get a little chilly, I know you're going to continue to do that work. I want you to know that the only reason I am here today as your governor is because I did that work in my first race for the state house. Nobody thought I had a chance to win. I was running in a district that was 60% Republican back in Montgomery County. It's a little different back then than it is today, Mr. Chairman. And in that race, I personally went out and knocked on 18,000 doors myself. I met my neighbors.
We're going to stick around for a
the
second half, second
I
hour
learned
today.
in that race.
I want to get back to some of that Joe Rogan.
How to hear the needs that people have.
About 3 minutes left of this
their
hour.
Worries, and to channel those worries into real action that can make their lives better. You have this gift now, this opportunity to fight for these great candidates here, but to do so in a way where you're empowered, knocking on people's doors, talking to folks, taking in their feelings, and showing them how they also have power to go out and make a change and do good in their communities. You've got this unique ability to do that work at one of the most important times in our nation's history. So we've built this coordinated campaign for all of you to help make sure our Commonwealth keeps moving forward, to help stop the chaos and the cruelty and the corruption in Washington, D.C. And I believe that right now, if we channel our energy not into worrying and campaigning or complaining and being angry, but instead into real action that's going to make people's lives better.
Complaining, about the same
thing, right? I believe this will be a moment we will all look
Floridian slip
and feel proud not just of James Malone, but Janelle Stelzner or Sarah Egerton. You're going to be proud of yourself.
California, New York, Minnesota.
And you're going to be able to say to your kids
and you get
and your
what you
grandkids
deserve.
and your friends.
I know, but now you got Pennsylvania. That's what this is. He's trying to turn Pennsylvania into one of them.
And your neighbors, that in this time of tumult in our
slowly getting there, too.
you rose up and you did your part and you made our Commonwealth and our country stronger. Today, I ask you to commit yourselves to being part of this campaign. Text RISE UP to 32210 to make sure that you are locked in and part of this effort. Next week, we're going to be 100 days out from Election Day, and we're going to have a massive effort all across Pennsylvania. Take a shift, be involved, be engaged, and do your part. I'm asking you to do this work. You know who else has been asking us to do this work? Ben Franklin's been asking us to do this work.
What the fuck?
I want to close with this.
No, it's not. Bro. He was doing so good. He was doing so good. Oh my God, guys. No, we're not going to close with anything else. Ben Franklin joke for the end for fucking Mr. Shapiro here. Wowee. All right, that's the end of our poll of the day for the first hour. We are going to do a second hour tonight, guys. It's Saturday night. Let's have some fun. And also because I'm really interested in this runoff tonight. This runoff tonight is going to be interesting because Rubio got in the runoff tonight, guys. Getting the right crowd in here tonight. 843 days until election. We got JD Vance in first place with 51 wins. But can little Marco Rubio going up against him, can he pull it off with his 2 wins? The runoff starts now. I would vote for Marco Rubio, guys. I would vote for Marco Rubio. Come on. Let's do it. Let's give Marco Rubio a shot tonight, guys. All right. Let's get into it, though. First, I just want to make sure that there's nothing else Fox Live. Nothing else with the war going on that we're missing here. Nope. Just 2 hours ago with Andrew Tate and then the war and 2 people getting shot. So let's go into it. Let's get back into
serving overseas. They're doing something overseas. It should not be legal.
That's right.
And hey, there we go.
Right.
And the fact that it became ubiquitous during COVID is a giant problem.
Yeah, so this raises one of my total
Marco's winning right now.
Side point, but So
Michael, you're
if
the
you
only
remember
one so far.
in the aftermath of the
2 other
2020
votes for
election, where
Marco.
there was all this like debate about was the election stolen, was the election not stolen, all the litigation that moved through. There was a case in Pennsylvania that like didn't get very much attention. And
okay, guys, he's gonna go for about 3-4 minutes here. I'm gonna take a break for a second, just regroup myself, chill on the balcony for a minute. I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll continue with at least an hour of Mr. JD Vance in his Joe Rogan interview earlier this week.
I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but basically it was a guy in a rural area of Pennsylvania saying, you're undercounting my vote because we didn't have the opportunity to do the mail-in ballots like they did in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. And like the argument was a kind of disparate impact, right? The cities ginned up all the mail-in balloting and the ballot harvesting. You didn't do that in the country, and that hurt sort of our representation. So they take this case to the Pennsylvania courts, and what's crazy is the Pennsylvania courts basically say, you're making kind of a good point here. Like the ballot harvesting did affect Republicans in a more negative way. It did mean that certain people in the more rural parts of the state were underrepresented. But then the court conclusion was this is not a problem a court can fix. Like that's a political problem. Change your, local elections leaders, change your laws. Like that's not a remedy that the court has to fix. And so everybody saw that case and they're like, oh, the judge rules against Donald Trump, rules against Republicans for saying that there was something illegitimate. But no, actually, the judge kind of said there is something kind of fishy here. We're just the wrong venue to fix it.
Well, it's just very disheartening that you have to consider the fact that it's really possible that the elections get stolen. And the California one was a big one for me.
And why not just have mail-in, or why not just have voter ID?
Yeah.
You actually
that's
saw
insane. Not only did they not have voter ID, you can't show your ID. You're not allowed to show your ID.
You can in fact be like prosecuted if you try to force somebody to show their ID.
Which is seems like you want people to cheat.
Exactly.
And this is from the same people that were saying you have to have an ID that shows you've been vaccinated just 4 years ago to go to a
grocery
restaurant
shopping or to go to a restaurant. Yeah. No, it's definitely. That's the part about it that I think makes most people of my political persuasion skeptical of what the Democrats are doing. Like, if you don't want to cheat in the election, then just make everybody actually show an ID. Another thing people don't realize is, I didn't realize this until a couple years ago, the voter ID solves a lot of the mail-in ballot problem. Because if you have to show an ID in order to get a mail-in ballot, in order to actually, confirm that there's a real identification attached to that vote, that solves a big chunk of the problem too.
This is just logical.
Yes.
Like I'm not
every country does it.
I'm not skeptical. I'm accusing them. I think they stole the election.
Yes.
And I think it's common. And this idea that elections can't be stolen. I always say to people, okay, do you think that the amount of election fraud is 0%? No one thinks that.
Yeah.
No one thinks it's zero.
Exactly.
There's always some overzealous person that works somewhere that's doing something. There's always crazy people that are like blue no matter who, we got to win, or red no matter what. There's always people, right and left, that are going to try to rig the election because they think it's imperative. Look, we saw. There was people like Oprah Winfrey was saying it. Like, if we don't win this election, you may never vote again. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why? Who's going to tolerate that? Left or right? That's crazy.
That's right.
But that attitude allows people to justify cheating.
Correct.
And I think they cheat. And I think they've been doing it forever. And I don't think there's any other reason why you would have no voter ID. And they try to say, oh, it's racist to have voter ID. Like, what are you talking about? Do you think other races are incapable of going to the DMV? That's insane.
Yeah, that's racist. It's actually super racist.
That's really racist.
Right, the implication of their argument is literally like blacks and Hispanics cannot go to the DMV to get an ID. By the way, if you look at the polling, Black Americans are as pro-voter ID. Even though most Black Americans vote Democrat, they're still pro-voter ID as much as white Americans is.
Most Americans are voter. So they want voter ID, except for operatives.
So I'll offer on the Joe Rogan podcast this deal as vice president of these United States that if Democrats really don't think that there's any cheating, give us voter ID.
I just don't know
give
how
us voter
it's
ID,
not.
And we'll stop talking so much about elections.
Why is that not a federal thing?
We are trying to make it a federal thing. So we are right now trying to pass the Save America Act one of its main provisions is a requirement that you do voter ID. And we actually have, I think, a majority of the Senate that would support it. But this is just weird Senate procedural bullshit. There is a subsegment of people who want voter ID, but...
there we go. We're getting them back. The only thing that could lower the IQ of this room is if Trump walked in. Well, I'm back. Sorry, guys.
Won't blow up the filibuster in order to achieve it.
Trump,
and so they're so married to these old world Senate procedures that they're going to make it impossible for us to pass Save America. Now, we are, for what it's worth, trying to fix that and trying to address these like weird procedural, archaic things. It's insane.
I'll say, though, even Republicans do the same thing, though, because Republicans will literally hate on The Odyssey, even though it's a great movie, and be like, it's not historically accurate. Like, well, okay, come on.
Insane, though. Like, have you ever... Okay, I'm sure you hear people talk about the filibuster all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole. Here's what the filibuster is. It is a pure Senate rule. It is a creation of the Senate procedures, which basically says that anything that has to do with the budget is a 50-vote threshold. And everything else, non-budgetary, is a 60-vote threshold. Now, as you can imagine, there's some gray area on things that maybe count as budget issues and should be 50, or are not budget issues and count at 60. So what we have tried to persuade the Senate to do is to treat the voter ID as something that can fall within the 50-vote threshold. And there is no law, there's no provision in the Constitution. It is legitimately that there are senators who are so attached to the idea that budget is 50, non-budget is 60, that they're quite literally willing to prevent voter ID in America.
God.
It's nuts, dude.
It's so crazy. Nuts. And it's also like the idea that somehow or another, like Kathy Hochul had the craziest take on it.
She often does.
Did you see her take on it?
I have not.
She was talking about black people in inner cities not even knowing what a computer is. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God, it was so crazy. And then this one comedian, this black comedian, did this hilarious video where he was like circling around a computer, staring at it, like touching it, like he didn't know what it was. It's just like, what are you talking about? Everyone has a phone. That's a computer.
So many of these Democratic talking points presume that their own voters are actual.
The alternative may be Rubio.
Right, that's actually
Is Rubio polling today? Is he polling? Oh, it's 50-50 right now, guys. 50-50.
There's a big difference between, Republicans, we sort of presume that our voters are adults, and you don't see that with I'm not saying every Democrat, of course, I don't want to cast too broad of a brush here, but it's like, Gavin Newsom did this speech a few months ago.
Here's the thing is, I think if you are against Trump, like genuinely, but you understand the practicality of a new Republican leader, you're probably going for Rubio. Because JD Vance, while still will be a calmer version of Trump, will most likely put the same types of policies and rhetoric around things. Rubio is a lot more likely to stay out of things. For instance, like he made a comment about the Michelle Obama as a man. Rubio is more likely to walk around that. Both, you know what I mean? It's almost like Rubio is the Democrat and JD is the Republican, really. Because what the fuck is the DNC? We saw what they're doing over there to their freaking candidates in Maine.
And I think
it's done. It's over.
Because he's like speaking.
Do you want Rubio, a Democrat, or do you want JD Vance, a Republican?
It's like an audience that is 95% black. And they're asking him about his dyslexia and his struggle with education. And he basically says, yeah, I'm not very smart like a lot of you. And it's like,
I'm like you. I can't even read.
I can't even read.
Meanwhile, there's a ton of interviews where he's talking about all the books he reads. Like he's so full of shit.
Yeah, he's full of shit, but it's
admirably full of shit.
But
it's I admire the fucking the sheer tenacity that he has in being full of shit. Because it's amazing.
R.I.P. Gavin Newsom not making it through on the poll today. It's the first day in like ever, really. Well, I think ever. Because I don't think Marco Rubio's ever made it to a runoff.
It really
I think
is
Marco
amazing.
Rubio's only won when it's been a 1 hour show.
It speaks to the incentives of there's
But
kind
this is
of
the first
like
day that Gavin
look. There's a
didn't make
real
the top
populism
two.
that I'm very much a fan of because I think you should be responsive to people. But there's like a faux populism of the way that I'm going to appeal to people is by assuming that they're idiots.
I liked Mark Kelly until the whole like Trump's attacking us, the military thing, and then he did the fucking stupid ad. And I understand you got to play your politics, I guess. I just wish that he would go more he doesn't have to lean in heavy into the Fetterman era. Like he doesn't have to do the actual Republican things, but he could be more of a bro. Mark Kelly could be a lot more of a bro.
And acting like they're idiots.
Join UFC,
and
looking
then,
like a fighter.
But if you're committed enough to that bit, eventually it kind of leaks out what you're doing.
I got
and I think that was
chisel
sort of what
chest
Gavin
for it,
did there,
man.
is he told on himself a bit.
Well, he's bizarre.
Dude, I will say,
he's a bizarre guy.
I've only met Gavin. I think I've only met him one time in my life, and it's such a crazy experience. So, the debate between Biden.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like he's like, JD Vance has only met Gavin Newsom once in his life, and it was such a crazy experience. Bro's a lizard.
And Trump.
You over here worried about like him with Palantir or whatever. Like Gavin Newsom is a lizard.
During the 2024 cycle. And I'm there. I'm actually doing an interview for a documentary when the debate starts. And there's this clip of me. The debate starts. I'm in the middle of this interview. There's a big screen behind me as I'm talking to the camera, which is here. And I kind of freeze. And I look back at the TV and I'm like, oh my God. Like this is actually happening. Biden is imploding. Because if you remember, it was obvious from the get-go.
Shit.
So I go to the spin room afterwards. And that's where, all these reporters and all the surrogates of the candidates. This is before I was the VP nominee. And I'm just like, talking about how great the president did, how bad President Biden did. Okay. I see Gavin Newsom there, and he literally looks like he's seen a ghost. Like I've never seen a person who, as good of a bullshitter as he is, who realized there was no selling that performance. Like, but can you imagine? Like, try to put yourself in the perspective of a human being. I always try to, be empathetic, where Joe Biden has just had that debate, and you have to go on CNN to talk about how great of a job Joe Biden did.
Well, my favorite is Joe Scarborough, because Joe Scarborough before it was like, I'm going to say something and F you if you can't take it. This is the sharpest Biden we've ever seen. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's amazing. And then after the debate, he's like, we got to get rid of him. He's got to go. He's got to go, hey, what did you say? You just said a couple of months ago, this is the best Biden ever.
That's wild.
Well, it's like, I wonder what was going on with that. Because, the debates were earlier than they've ever been before. And it seemed to me, it's like...
What do you mean, what's going on with that? Like, JD Vance might explain it, but the whole thing is that the Democratic institution was trying to stifle RFK because they thought that it hurt them in the election. So they rewrote the rules of the debates. They offered 3 debates, and they put them up to Trump directly and said, hey, if you want these debates, here they are, but this is the only way we're doing them. And you know what I mean? Like it was like this manipulative move to reconstruct the debates, because the debates are an institution that was completely dismantled by the DNC and Joe Biden right before they did this debate offer.
There was a concerted effort to hide what was wrong with it.
100%.
100%.
Yes.
Everybody was bullshitting.
Yes.
Everybody was gaslighting us.
Correct.
We all saw it. I remember a friend of mine who's super progressive, super liberal. When I talked about it on a podcast, I'm like, this is crazy. Even if he wins, he's not going to be the guy that's the president. You're going to have his cabinet that are running everything.
Yeah.
Turned out I was right. And they were saying, oh, don't you understand that he has a stutter? And I said, where the fuck was that stutter in the 1990s? Like, that's crazy.
That's right.
Like, a stutter that only shows up when you're 80? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is a lie. You're lying. He's had 2 brain surgeries, like, where they have to take the top of your head off. Literally, they have to take, like, a cap.
Wait, Biden had 2 brain surgeries?
Oh, yeah.
How did I not know this?
You didn't know this?
I didn't know that he had 2 brain surgeries.
He had 2 brain surgeries. Jamie, please look this up. Make sure that I'm right. I'm 99% sure I'm right, but I know he had
so did he get a refund afterwards?
Well, it kept him alive. It kept him alive. I mean, Here, Biden has not undergone recent brain surgery. He underwent 2 successful, life-saving brain surgeries to repair 2 intracranial aneurysms in 1988.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Okay, so he literally had brain surgery in 1988. He should have been stopped then.
Medical professionals have stated that he made a full recovery and suffered no lasting brain damage or cognitive impairment from these procedures. Oh, it's from the Washington Post, so you know it's accurate and definitely not biased at all. And these medical professionals, were those the same people that said that the COVID vaccine is safe and effective?
That's right.
We live in a wonderful time for bullshit. It's like, because they just bullshit you right to your face. Like,
we do.
He had 2 brain surgeries, like major brain surgeries, because he's having aneurysms. I don't care who you are. That's probably going to do some damage.
It's going to leave some.
Aneurysms are
leave an impact.
a real problem.
That's a real thing.
Your brain
people
is bleeding.
People die from aneurysms all the time. See, that's the crazy thing is I never even knew about that.
How'd you not know about that? That's nuts. I knew about it.
Well, it speaks to how constrained our media environment is that even I had never heard.
Yeah, that the perspective is like it's all this just beep 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 beep.
Right. It was not a part of the narrative. It's certainly not from the Democrats. But yeah, it was clearly, I just don't understand why they ran him in the first place. The whole thing made no sense. And then to have no primary and just stick Kamala in there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden pretend that she's the best thing ever. And like this idea, like complete flip of her being the least popular vice president ever. Always sticking her foot in her mouth. Always saying crazy shit. How dare we say Merry Christmas? Remember that one? Like, what the fuck is... What are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, joy is bad? Merry Christmas is bad?
Legitimately, when the campaign consultants told me, hey, we're going to hit this line because Kamala Harris came out in favor of taxpayer-funded sex changes for illegal aliens. And I remember thinking to myself, come on, you guys. Like, she didn't really say that. It's taken out of context. And then I go and look at it, and I'm like, holy shit.
Have you seen the Middle East and Russia, Ukraine right now? It's World War III. Cities are on fire. Okay, let's check it out. But I'm pretty sure, like, we did see the 2 died in Jordan. That was there. Let's see. What would I do? Let's do Russia, Ukraine. Eight hours ago, Zelensky. Dear Ukrainians, first of all, I want to thank our warriors for their perception overnight of our long-range delivery, strong results. We continue entirely rightly for the war and for its strikes on Ukraine's infrastructure. Today, targets were hit near Moscow. There were elements of Russian logistics warehouses used to distribute equipment for war, navigation systems, components of the drone production, and other supplies of the Russian army. Our Ukrainian weapons also reached other oil facilities, Sea of Azov, and the Black Sea. This was one of them. There will be assets of mid-range strikes, long-range sanctions, carry a fairly steady armed forces of Ukraine,
силам безпілотних систем, силам спеціальних операцій, нашим розвідкам, ГУР, СЗР, нашим ракетним військам та артилерії та, звісно, Службі безпеки України. Росія давно має змогу перейти до дипломатії і завершити свою агресію, і саме відмови російського керівництва
by Russia's leadership and their desire to keep fighting that are the reason why the war continues. This year alone, we have reached out to Russia. Bro came in like an amateur and is coming out like a fucking champion, by the way. We've reached out to Russia dozens of times with proposals to stop this war.
На Росію з пропозиціями зупинити цю
Yo, I'm so team Ukraine right now. But all we got in return was refusals. So team Yo, underdog city. They play in the American way, guys. They colonizing themselves. This is crazy. Our partners are trying to help organize a meeting of leaders of the United States, Turkey, and other European and Arab countries. Putin has no desire to end the war. Today we have detailed discussions with the commanders of our troops. There are exactly the sanctions on the front line where the fighting is extremely intense, and other directions into this area, and this area, directions into this area, and this area, and then this region. I am grateful for the defense of our positions and for the striking of the occupier. Just our 17th Corps alone operating in this sector caused about 7,000 Russian losses every month, killed and wounded. Damn, bro. There are consistent Russian assaults in the area. The occupier's army simply does not count. The cost is lives. So, of course, it is difficult, but the Corps is delivering results for Ukraine. The same goes for our other corps on the front line. Thank you for your strength. Everything that is needed in terms of weapons, long-range artillery, and UGVs will be discussed at the staff meeting as early as Monday. I also heard the issues that exist in the relations between the army and other structures on the ground. Okay, cool. Let's see what else is fucking going on. Is there anything else here? Oh. No. What is this one? I'm grateful to our warriors of the accuracy. Once again, we have been there successfully. Long-range sanctions against Russia of the war, in particular a Tu-95 military aircraft into the Eagle.
No.
No. No. There it is again. Yo, what? You see that one? That was wild. You know, they're just like fucking chilling on the beach. Oh. Just imagine waking up and seeing that shit around your fucking house, guys. What the fuck? Search settings. Oh, wait. Yeah, we do want to set. Hold on. I gotta hide the sensitive content to make sure that we don't get anything crazy. Russia, Ukraine. I just want like today. Years 26 to the fuck. Oh, there's the date thing. 18. Wait. Oh. From 17 to 18. And then we'll do Iran after this. Hold on. Do these guys first. Okay. Oh, what? Uh-oh. The Russians. JD Vance, your face. Oh, Ukrainians coming in with all that Lindsey Graham material. What is this? Crimea has been bridgehead of Russia since it seized the territory in Ukraine in 2014, but the peninsula is now looking vulnerable? Yo, Crimea looking vulnerable? What? Yo, that's crazy. Near Crimea.
Oh, definitely. Ukraine has
Can you maintain that gap?
If we are continuing to employ the same workflow, same ways to operate at same shoestring budgets, we'll continue innovating.
Okay, that's interesting. Have you out-innovated the US? Are you seeing US demand? Are you in conversation with the Pentagon? Is the US interested in your technology?
I cannot comment on conversations, but
I cannot comment on millions and millions of dollars going in my pocket. Go watch the movie Lord of War. It was a Ukrainian. Nicolas Cage plays a real-life Ukrainian weapon salesman. Guys, I'm telling you guys, they fucking knew. They doing some revolutionary shit right now. Like, and honestly, we did the historical thing that we normally do. Okay, we did the same historical thing that we normally do. We literally were like, all the countries are like, "Oh, shut up! You're just a part of Russia anyway." Isn't that what we did? What happened to us in America during the colonization with England? Everybody was like, "Shut up! You're just a part of England or France or Spain or whatever anyway." And then over time, we were like, "No, we are not." That's the Ukrainians right now, guys. They're like fucking creating these drones and exploding the heads of Russians daily. We will revenge. We will take back Crimea. There is no negotiation no more. Go watch my sitcom.
Man has been extremely strong in terms of signal. Mm-hmm. And what I'm really excited about is that with all the changes that U.S. is...
Bro, look at that. That's a drone boat. That was a drone boat. I haven't even thought of that yet. A drone boat?
What I'm really excited about is that with all the changes that U.S. is delivering right now in terms of their purchasing structure, like the new DRPM office, the Defense Autonomous Warfare Group, etc., they have centralized all of the budgets for
with the wrong revolutionaries.
That is now moving.
They got that Lindsey Graham hookup right before he
at large scale. All of that is obviously really good for you for us.
And you're confident you'll be able to get access to some of those contracts.
Bro, they're systems. They got to fight back somehow.
We are setting up our U.S. operations in a way that treats us as a U.S. subsidiary with SSA, which basically is the same way as BAE or Kongsberg or Saab is operating in the United States and gives them advantage.
Oh, wow. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, that was the one we already saw. Ukrainian forces struck the oil refinery northeast of Moscow as drone attacks deepen fuel shortages in Russia. Russian strike kills 4 in Ukraine as Zelensky's defense shakes up spark anger. What's this? Bro, showing us one of the drones. This is an SFO drone. This is the drone that they use. Look at that! It literally looks like a fucking Samsung flip phone attached to some propellers. Bro, that's insane! But look, then it has this huge antenna. So the antenna is all that really matters. And the rest of it is just the explosive and shit. Receives black pickup truck. Drone is one of the best currently available. And they just run it into the... Oh my god. And they can explode full tanks and shit with it. Whoa, look at that. Bro, that's insane. Biden put nearly $500 million into critical artillery plant that still hasn't produced a single round. Watchdog New York Post, an artillery plant that the U.S. has spent $469 million on has failed to produce any of the critical 155 millimeter rounds Americans need for the 2 years since it was built. Okay. Look at that, bro. 4 years into the war, the European Union has imposed sanctions on Russia for the first time since specifically over the strikes in Kyiv. Yeah, because they got to start striking Kyiv, bro, because they're getting struck. In Odessa, 2 people were killed as a result of Russians' overnight missile strike on a residential building. 5 more people were injured, including 3 children. Anyone affected is receiving the necessary medical care. My condolences to the families and loved ones. 15 guided aerial bombs were used against the Sami region. 1 person was injured in Sami, and residential buildings and civilian infrastructure, including the library, were damaged. Yo, shit be heating up. Ships in... That one, alright, come on, give me some.
is consistent with some of the open source reporting you may have seen in Ukraine. So the average life expectancy of a Russian recruit right now arriving on the battlefield in Ukraine is estimated to be between 20 and 30 minutes. 20 and 30 minutes. And that's because, AI-powered drones have gotten to be such specialized, low-cost killing machines. So it's why an inferior force 4.5 years later has held off the superior force of Russia against Ukraine. The pace of their advance has stopped as Ukraine's mastery of emerging technologies, and in this case, drone warfare, asymmetric warfare, is such a great equalizer.
Can't tell how Russian people feel about a war.
Підозру у службовій недбалості, що спричинило.
I can't hear that. Oh my God, what is this? On the 12th anniversary of the crash of Malaysia Air Flight MH17, the European Union has called on Russia to acknowledge its responsibility for shooting down the plane and to cooperate fully to ensure justice in the case on July 17th, 2014. Wow. What's this guy? What's
In the
this
Sea
nerd
of Azov.
saying?
Why is Ukraine striking Russian fuel tankers in the Sea of Azov? It's a strategy with a simple goal. In 2014, Vladimir Putin seized Crimea. To keep it under control, Moscow needs to supply it with regular deliveries of food and fuel. For months, Ukraine has been attacking the main land route used to drive in such supplies. That road is now almost impassable, so Russia found another way. Last month, Putin ordered more deliveries by sea through the Sea of Azov. Now, Ukraine is targeting those tankers too. Kyiv says it has struck more than 100 Russian-linked vessels in just over a week. By cutting off these deliveries, Ukraine hopes to make life in Crimea so miserable that Moscow's forces are forced, eventually, to retreat back to the mainland. The operation is called Molochka, or milk in English. But the title is also an acronym for Moscow will fall through Crimea, Ukraine's drone forces chief, Robert Magyar Brovdy, revealed this week. And the success of the Ukrainian strategy also reveals a major weakness in Russia's war planning. Moscow has invested heavily in missiles, bombs, and offensive firepower, but devoted far fewer resources to its air defense equipment. For Russians in Crimea, there is one small mercy. Ukraine has not yet bombed Kerch Bridge, their only escape route back to the mainland. If life on the island gets too tough, Major Brovdy says, the door is open for them to go home.
Wow. Okay. What else? We got anything else here? What's this one? 12 more vessels belonging to the Russian Shadow Fleet hit by Ukrainian unmanned systems. Let's just take one little update on this, and let's do Iran real quick. See what's going on with Iran. Hegseth. Iran does not control shit. Okay.
The fact that you've left it.
How do I do this? Iran, Israel, maybe? Attacks. Doesn't look like we're getting any video of anything actually going on there. All right, let's get back to JD.
She actually said that, and she really was like the very worst version of what the Democrats were producing in 2020. The thing is, they were all doing it because that was the incentives of the party. Like if you remember that debate where it was, do you want taxpayer-funded Medicare for illegal aliens? Which, like, Medicare is the program to provide health care to the elderly that people pay into for, like, your entire working life. You see your little Medicare tax statement. And the idea that we were going to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegal aliens, it was just insane. It was a 90-10 issue, but their party in 2020 got kind of taken over by the radicals, And I think actually maybe you're seeing a little bit of that happening right now, where it seems like the radical organizations, the nonprofits, the donors are pushing the party in a direction that most of the voters haven't gone in. Like, you ask why Joe Biden was the nominee, and I'll say something in defense of Joe Biden. So, like, was he the most effective politician? No. Had he had 2 brain surgeries? Yes, and clearly had shown the negative signs of aging. But he was kind of the only candidate, if you go back to 2020, who could hold together, like, the reasonable middle-class black American in the Atlanta suburbs with whatever is going on the far left of the Democrat Party. And I think this is sort of the issue their party has. I mean, to be candid, our party has its own coalition problems, and it's always tough in a 2-party system to hold everybody together. Like, I think about this a lot. I think it's really tough on the Democrats because the core of their party, like the most important voting bloc in the Democratic Party, is middle-class black Americans. Socially moderate to even socially conservative, maybe a little bit more economically populist on certain business and tax issues. You know, they don't want to give tax breaks to major corporations. They also don't want to trans the kids. That's the base of their party. But then you've also got, like, the crazy people, and you have to kind of hold that together. I think the argument for Biden was he was one of the only people who could hold that together, even though he was an awful politician in his own right, even before he was, like, old.
Well, it's because he was Obama's vice president.
Exactly.
And, you know, he's established, he's a known name, and for the people that were kind of casuals that weren't really paying attention to politics, like, he's a proven commodity.
That's right. He doesn't read as a crazy person to the general electorate, even though, you know.
I got hairy legs.
Peace out.
When he would tell stories like, "Oh, I'll tell you about corn pop." Like, what?
Oh,
what the fuck is going on?
The thing I couldn't get over Biden is just bad staff work, man. The way that he ate ice cream. I mean, it's like, you know, we could bring some of this stuff up, but it's like they would get him eating ice cream in the most ridiculous, suggestive way imaginable.
I never even paid attention to that.
Oh, my God. Like,
I never
just
saw
such bad optics. So, okay, so there's a clip, I want to say, from the 2016 campaign where somebody is campaigning in Iowa. And, like, it's the Iowa State Fair is, like, one of the main things you go to when you're running for president. And they give somebody a corn dog. And somebody eats the corn dog. And it becomes like a major news cycle for a long time. And I will never forget in 2024. In 2020,
this is how immature we are.
I know. You gotta have a little fun sometimes, though. But in 2024, somebody is holding up a sign at the Iowa State Fair. I think it may have been one of Vivek's event, Vivek Ramaswamy's events, and the sign says, "Eat the corn dog, you coward." And it's one of the best political signs I've ever seen.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, you'd have to be a very manly man to be able to confidently eat a corn dog.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do it, Joe.
I eat them. They're good.
Yeah, but
they taste good.
Are you I love corn dogs.
I've been photographed.
You've been photographed eating a corn dog?
I'm sure someone has.
What of
I've eaten corn dogs. The odds are
much more interesting life that I've led. I try to eat my corn dogs. That's between me and my kitchen.
I'm not scared to eat a corn dog. I just think it's funny that people they're so afraid of being anything that looks like a dick. You can't. Bananas, corn dogs.
You gotta be careful when you're in politics. This is an optics-based business here.
What are those popsicles? The ones that Yeah, I get it. I mean, but it's just like that's how crazy we are. That's what weirds people out. The way someone eats a hot dog. That's like, okay.
Well, that's where we are, man.
Yeah. It's the difference between, you know, the crazies and the real reasonable Democrats is so stark to me. And it's also with the right. It's like the parties are always defined by the worst examples of the right.
That's right.
You know, or of the left. You know, whatever it is, whether it's Patriot Front or whether it's Antifa.
Okay, so who do you think is the worst example of our side? Like, who do you read about on our side and your reaction is, holy shit? And don't say JD.
Kash Patel. Kash Patel. Say it. You know that the name came to your mind, Joe Rogan. Just say it. The name is Kash Patel.
Vance, this is going to be a very awkward interview.
No, I'll tell you.
I'm screwed with you.
Well, the people that one of the things, I had James Tallarico on the podcast, and one of the things that I think he has a really good point about, even though I know you're Catholic and you're very religious, putting the 10 Commandments in schools, I don't think is the right way to do it. And this is a guy, Tallarico, who was in seminary and is very Christian. Mm-hmm. And he just thinks that even though he believes in the 10 Commandments, if you're just only representing the Christian faith in these schools, you're forcing your religion into other people's lives, and that this is going to push people away from Christianity rather than encourage them to pursue it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you never want to force things on people, and I think one of the core Christian contributions to Western civilization is the idea of freedom of religion. It's actually very much a Christian idea because you recognize the dignity of each individual, and part of recognizing that dignity is that each person has to find their own pathway to God. You can't force this on anybody. I don't think putting the 10 Commandments up in school is like forcing things on anybody.
But it's ought to consider chewing your food and swallowing before you talk. Sorry.
Public schools.
I'm sorry.
So, I mean, if you're going to do that, why not put Buddhist scripture? Why not put,
I thought you're not giving a fuck.
Muslim
Isn't that
stuff?
what it handles
You could make an argument why you should have a bunch of different religious tenets in schools.
I think in the Supreme Court there actually are a lot of different sort of historical, cultural, legal documents that are up there, and I want to say that Moses coming down with a tablet is one of them, but I think there actually are other cultural and maybe even other religious elements of this, like where you recognize that a big part of sort of the law-giving tradition in Western civilization is is some of these religious texts, not exclusively Christian religious texts. Obviously, some Jewish. There's like an important contribution from the Muslim world in this. So I guess I don't think of it as exclusionary, while also recognizing that America is a society. Our founders were people who were very much influenced, even if they weren't Christians, a lot of them, of course, were, but were very influenced by Christian culture and articulating American law. So my argument would be, even if you're not a Christian, like, does seeing the 10 Commandments, let me put it a slightly different way. Does seeing the 10 Commandments force religion on a non-Christian child? I mean, my argument would be no, and I'd illustrate this by saying, well, there are all of these ways in which you actually could try to force religion on a child, right?
Well, it's not the worst way to force religion on a child, but to have it and not represent any other religion. This is Texas, by the way.
Sure.
So what he's talking about was that there's these Christian nationalists, these guys that are very wealthy, that are trying to fund Christian schools and trying to defund public schools or any other kind of religious school. And what they want to do, and they passed this, to get the 10 Commandments in all public school classes. And he's fundamentally opposed to that as a Christian because he thinks it's going to...
You take the 10 Commandments and then break it down into different texts and shrink it to only a few commandments, and instead of calling them commandments, call them rules to live by? Yep. The end. The Israelis are white.
Force
the
people
Israelis are white?
To have this in their class, and it's going to push people away from Christianity.
I mean, I understand the argument. I just don't see it that way. I mean, I guess if I'm I hear you, but if I'm a non-religious student and I'm sitting in there and I see the 10 Commandments, at the very least, I think I can appreciate it. I mean,
Okay, but what if you're a Hindu? What if you're a Hindu? What if you're a Muslim, and you are seeing that represented, but not your faith?
Well,
it's a public school.
First of all, I think that I'm pretty sure Muslims, I'm not hardly an expert on Islam, but I think all of the Abrahamic faiths recognize the 10 Commandments as...
That's the thing. That's the thing that's the ignorance of not understanding religion, which is that every Abrahamic faith, which is Christianity, Muslims, and Jews, all believe in the 10 Commandments. So who are you trying to push out? The spiritual leaders of Buddhism and Hinduism? Well, they just have a spiritual bias. The religions of the world all fundamentally believe in the 10 Commandments. It's not a national Christian thing.
Like a significant thing. But I think if I was a Hindu looking at the Ten Commandments, I mean, again, it's hard for me to say this, right, from my perspective, but I certainly went through an atheist phase in my youth. And what I would see that as a non-religious person or a different religion is I would say this is like an important cultural element of the Western civilization, which is the foundation of the classroom that I'm sitting in. And this idea that the law comes and is sort of above any man, even if you don't believe in God yourself, I think that's like an important concept. I mean, if you look at the Ten Commandments, probably 8 of them are something that I would hope that everybody would agree with, even if they're not themselves religious. So I guess here's my view on it. Like, I would not be offended if I sat in a classroom as a Christian, or if my kids sat in a classroom as a Christian and saw, a religious text that wasn't Christian on the wall. I would encourage them to see that. No, I'd encourage them to see that as a learning experience. Try to understand
what if it was
things.
from the Quran? What if a bunch of
I guess it depends on what it was, right? If it's like something crazy, but no, I mean, if it's something that is like culturally interesting, I guess I don't have a problem with my kid reading something.
The problem is it's mandated. Like if you have a classroom and the teacher is Christian, and the teacher wants to have it in their classroom.
Yeah, but it's not just Christian. The Ten Commandments are Jewish, Christian, and Muslim. Anyone that believes in any kind of one God religiously in the world right now, Joe Rogan, believes in the Ten Commandments. It's all Abrahamic faith. You're not excluding anybody.
Maybe that's one thing. But if you're mandating that you're going to have the
Kids don't make a big deal about the trans rights that parents and activists do.
Commandments in classrooms, that's a different thing because now you're pushing Christianity on kids, and this is Tallarico's position. And as a Christian, he's saying, I think this is going to push children away from Christianity.
So I understand what he's saying. I think that part of living in a society where you have different people with different perspectives, but you do have, Christianity is the majority.
No, it's not excluding anybody. You have the pledge already there, the American Pledge of Allegiance. And they're including as well the Ten Commandments, which is all Abrahamic faiths represented. The only thing that can do is educate atheists, educate agnostics, educate Hindus, educate Buddhists. It does not go against them. It does not fight against their own internal narratives. Do we need to read them? I mean, honestly, this is the thing, is a lot of people don't remember the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments, most common version. Yes, it is. That's the pledge. That's not religion. Okay. The most common recognized version of the Ten Commandments in English reads, You shall have no other God before me. Okay. Again, so you believe in one God. That's any of the Abrahamic religions. If you don't believe in a God, that's fine too. You just can't believe in a God that isn't God. You shouldn't believe in the devil or deities or spirits. Yeah, don't do that. You shall not make yourself a carved image idol, nor bow down to or worship it. Makes sense? You shall not take the name of the Lord of God in vain. Okay, God again, the one God. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Choose one day out of the week to pray to that God. All of these things an agnostic just ignores. Honor your father and mother. Makes sense. You shall not murder. Yeah. You shall not commit adultery. Yeah. You shall not steal. Yeah. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Lie. Yeah. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, spouse, servants, animals, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. You should not steal. Yeah. So if you guys really are going to debate any of this, the only thing that you can really do is just be like, maybe we should eliminate 1 through 4 just so you don't say the word God. Because it might upset some people to say God. But, everybody that believes in any kind of God should be doing these 4 things. But if you don't believe in God, you shouldn't have those 4 things in your school. I agree with that. But having 5 through 10 in any school, that's not really a problem, right?
Religion of the United
Whoopsie,
States. It is
Trump
the
is going straight to
religion
hell.
that was
Can't
extraordinarily
ignore when you're
influential.
being forced to participate in religions, right? My God is real, not yours. So there. Why not? Church and state separation.
To our founding, to the constitutional principles. Again, freedom of religion is itself not really a liberal concept.
10 minutes left of the show, guys.
Originally derived,
get your vote in.
From a Christian idea about free will and the dignity of the person. I think part of that.
That's why you don't put religion in state schools. The U.S. is a secular country, not a theological regime. Okay, but when you see, like, in public, in like the city of Dearborn, the call to prayer at 6 a.m. being played on a loudspeaker, then when you're a billionaire in Texas, you're gonna say, "We're gonna put the 10 Commandments in our school." Like, these things combat each other. You know what I mean? Like, and it seems like people's arguments aren't like we should stop both of them or that we should allow both of them. It's always like, well, I'm on the left team or I'm on the right team, so I believe this one's okay. Loudspeakers at 6 a.m. is okay, but 10 Commandments isn't okay. Or 10 Commandments is okay, but loudspeakers at 6 a.m. isn't okay. Both or nah? Both or nah? That's where I kind of stand, is both or nah. What does kids know about committing adultery? They shouldn't.
That you're going to have exposure to different things. And if a
country is built on freedom of religion and Christianity is not safe space for PDFs and grapists. Speaking of, let's talk Tate's next. Bro, Tate is out, bro. That was crazy. Let's see if there's any update on that. We started our show with Andrew Tate getting arrested. Let's see if there's anything else here. Fox Live. I use Fox Live because they don't tag me when I do commentary, and the other ones try to steal my shit. Yeah, nothing. I mean, maybe NBC though. NBC ain't got anything on us? Nah, they were 3 hours ago. So 2 hours ago is when he was arrested, and the Fox is the only one that's covered it.
State legislator in a majority.
It is
Christian
wild
state
though, because Fox said that he's being extradited to the UK, but that the case is like sealed, so we can't even see what the charges are.
It's not like they're putting
that premise makes zero. Do you have the loudspeakers zero to do with the loudspeakers at 6 a.m.? Huh? Bro, no, I'm just saying, like, that's what I mean. You're trying to defend one while also saying the other shouldn't exist. You're saying, we shouldn't have the 10 Commandments in schools, but we should allow loudspeakers to go, ah, la, 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 specifically just for Muslims. But the 10 Commandments, that's Muslims, Jews, and Christians, that would be too much. It seems like you're into politics. You're into the Republican-Democrat debate over all of this. Because literally, your thinking makes no sense. Flimsy argument.
10 Commandments in front of these kids and saying,
really?
You have to read this and really write it 500 times a day. They're exposing kids to something. And I'm comfortable with kids being exposed to a lot of different things. I think that's part of living in a society where there's a free exchange of ideas. And what I worry about with Tallarico's sort of perspective here is again, I'm not saying that I don't want kids to be exposed to anything that is outside of the Christian canon. Like I actually want my kids exposed to things. I write about this in the book, that I think it's important to have a grounded enough faith that you can engage with a lot of different ideas and still ultimately, sort of hold on to your Christian faith. But isn't part of just living in a
loudspeakers isn't indoctrination. Disagree with your premise. No one is allowing speakers to play at 6 a.m. Doesn't exist unless you live in an Islamic country. No, well, that's factually inaccurate. Dearborn, Michigan plays the speakers at 6 a.m. Loudspeakers isn't indoctrination. Right, but printing the 10 Commandments and putting it on the school wall is?
Like pluralistic democracy. that people are going to be exposed to different things.
Weak argument, Alex. Again, like, you guys are just so liberal.
And, I would kind of put it on Talerico in a slightly different way, that for a long time in this country, there were
indoctrination is the religion way every day. Also, what I'm literally pointing out is something that is for a secular religion. The Muslim call to prayer being played in public at any time of day is for the secular religion of the Muslim faith. Putting the 10 Commandments in schools is not for a secular religion. It's for any of the Abrahamic religions. It's for any theology currently in the world that has one deity or one ultimate God. All Abrahamic religions fall back to the 10 Commandments. Then that's up to the Dearborn, Michigan zone and local statutes. Yeah, and then that's up to the state of Texas to put the 10 Commandments in schools. Do you not see? Like, what?
Court rulings that said that you cannot pray in a school. Even a student organization.
Public is different than public schools. Public is different than public schools. That's a good one. That one's the wild one. All religions are called
students.
They
or
might
that you cannot put the 10 Commandments up, even a teacher who chose to do it in their own classroom. And so I think you're always kind of trying to strike.
Public schools. Okay. So let's just keep it at home and not out loud anywhere or in school. Yeah, me human too. I agree. But I think that either JD Vance is going to tell you, no, we need to have 10 Commandments in school, or this other person that I'm arguing with is going to be like, not the same thing. Actually, I want to be able to blare the Muslim call to prayer. Like, there would be more of an argument for the 10 Commandments over Muslim call to prayer. But there's not really an argument for either one of them in the philosophy of church separation from state. You should keep it separate.
This balance,
right?
Given that we have
separation
the First Amendment in this country.
Problem is, no, not same thing. Separation of church and state. Yeah, separation of church and state. The state is the public square. That is the state. No.
Between allowing the practice of religious faith in public spaces.
If someone is blasting music in 6 a.m. in Michigan, then 100% guaranteed that's breaking local laws. It's up to them to enforce them. Simple. Wow. Do we really need to expose this to people? All right. This will be a real quick ChatGPT on this one. Dearborn, Michigan public speakers for Muslim call to pray, or any other U.S. city doing it. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. Yes, a number of U.S. cities permit mosques to broadcast Islamic call to prayer over out loud speakers in public squares. The rules vary by state. Dearborn, Michigan. Dearborn is one of the best known examples in the U.S. The city's American Muslim Society was the first mosque in the United States to receive court approval to broadcast the Adhan over outdoor loudspeakers in the early 1980s. The court treated it similarly to church bells under First Amendment principles. You know what? Great argument. Great argument on the church bells. Back to the 10 Commandments.
Possibly forcing religion on other people. I think you have to strike that balance.
If you allow one secular religion to do something, you should allow the other secular religion to do something. I don't see any secular religion, though, having a problem with the 10 Commandments because they all branch up to what? The theology of one God. So the only people that will be against this are people that are agnostic, atheists, Satanists, and pagans. So the witches of the world. I'm kind of like, I'm not trying to side with the witches of the world, all right? I like the 80% of people that have like moral thought behind like, oh no, I don't want to rob something because something bad might happen to me. Whether that's karma or a god or a deity or whatever. None of this pagan bullshit. I'll pray to this one to outdo that one and all this crazy stuff. The loudspeakers must be played within local noise ordinance, which means it's quiet. No, don't say that. Don't say that. the argument for the church bell is more valid, which is like, how can you say that you can't blare the song of vocals of, like, one is just vocal and one is the sound. And if you've ever watched, like, The Message, which is, like, literally about the foundation of Muhammad and the Muslim faith, it's an amazing movie in the 1970s. It's kind of like the Ten Commandments. Like, if you're a right-winger in here right now, and you've watched the Ten Commandments, or you've watched, what was the other one? Ben-Hur. There's Hollywood did the same model for the Muslim faith, and that was called The Message. And in that movie, they kind of really go over that, which is like, for Muslims, singing with vocal instead of with instrument is like kind of how they separate themselves from Christianity and the people that follow Jesus Christ. So, allowing the church bell but not allowing the voice, you're not allowing for freedom of speech across the board. Now, getting back into the schools thing, separation of church and state, okay, but which church? Which church is advocating? There isn't a church. There isn't a Muslim Ten Commandments. There isn't a Jewish Ten Commandments. There isn't a Christian Ten Commandments. There is an Abrahamic, one God, Ten Commandments. So,
right way.
The people that are arguing for this are people that don't really understand religion.
If the Ten Commandments being in a classroom is the thing that you think is forcing religion on somebody, was
weird.
He equally offended when the Ten Commandments were like quite literally prohibited from being listed in a public building?
I don't know if he was.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is that before the United States, the Ten Commandments would be prohibited. And if the Ten Commandments is prohibited, is that not worse? Think so, right? We are done with our show for the day, guys. The poll has ended. Boom. Who won? Oh my God, Marco Rubio. Yeah, third win for Mr. Marco Rubio. First time ever in the runoff. Let me put the poll back up on here, guys. Our poll of the day, as it is every single day on this show. We are 72 days in. We have 843 days left until the election. We have to mark another one for Mr. Rubio tonight. 3 wins for Rubio, 18 for Gavin, and 51 for JD Vance. I go live every single day at 5 p.m. Central Time from Austin, Texas, 5 days a week. On Sundays, I usually do like late afternoon, and we do the Sunday programming that was earlier. And on Saturdays, I do late night with y'all. Other than that, I'm doing a binge of every single Assassin's Creed game. I'm currently in the Tyranny of Washington, which is when it's a alternative storyline where George Washington becomes a king. Alex, bail quick. Next time, rethink your arguments before deciding to defend indefensible. I feel like I argued with myself because you were undebatable. God is using a control tool. Rubio likes to repeat 80s rap lyrics. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. JD will definitely be the first to squeal with when leader falls. We know a squealer when we see one. Ho, 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 ho. We may see at some point. But thanks again, guys, for tuning in. And I will be here tomorrow at like 2 p.m. or whatever. Otherwise, catch me in about an hour playing Assassin's Creed. I have the third part. It's the final part of the Tyranny of Washington. I'm going to stop King George Washington and save America. And then after that, I play as a black lady in New Orleans for like 3 or 4 days. Then we play in as the Black Flag, which everybody's into or something. I'm not that super into video games to know enough about it. But anyway, see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. And peace.